The podcast you are listening to of Holmberg's Morning Sickness is brought to you by my friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meat, mesquite, repeat. Trust me on this one. You've had barbecue before, but you haven't had it this good. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale, ericsfamilybbq.com.
Eric's Family Barbecue has arrived and is simply the best barbecue in Arizona. Come satisfy your taste buds with meats that are smoked over mesquite wood and sides that are made with fresh ingredients and tons of love. They have the best, juiciest brisket, pulled pork, rib sausage, turkey, or everyone's favorite, the Pitmaster Sampler that includes all the meat and 4 sides, mac and cheese, potato salad, coleslaw, corn, or beans, yum. And for dessert, try some creamy banana pudding, amazing. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meat, mesquite, repeat. Make the trip, you won't be sorry. Dine in or take it to go. Go to ericsfamilybbq.com for more info.
This man needs medical attention.
Holmberg's Morning Sickness.
The old method of treatment for a person in this condition was to throw him in jail.
98.
We're trying
Cancel that bet.
Brett's trying to bet WNBA basketball, which is hilarious.
He's diving in.
That is when you know you have a problem.
Degenerate.
You are done. You're, first off, you live alone. That's what Bob Kemp would bet on that stuff. Bob Kemp down the hall knows his WNBA bets. I heard you say that to him yesterday in the hallway. Say, hey, using them betting apps there, Bob? Yeah, well,
I've already had people for years.
Yeah, replace my bookies. He's been betting like mad. He's got a wall of TVs. But, betting the WNBA is when you know you're no longer gambling responsibly. You are now gambling willy-nilly, which is in the pamphlet to say don't do that.
That's what Rand messaged in. Come on, John, betting WNBA is easy. Always bet the under.
Always bet the under. But again, I remind you like I did a couple days ago, there is some poor intern sap whose job it is to handicap the WNBA games. And that poor kid's life, I would rather clean sewers with no gloves than handicap WNBA games, because that means you got to pay attention. Misery. But, yeah, if you want to bet that, basically, the New York Liberty is a 12-point underdog tonight.
To the Connecticut Sun.
Connecticut Sun. I would bet the money line on the Liberty because it's a plus 650.
Yeah?
No, I wouldn't, because I'm not going to bet on the WNBA. That's a terrible idea. Norm MacDonald passed away yesterday, and as a person who fancies this show to be based mostly in let's just make it fun and funny, nobody in my existence, I believe, has made me laugh more with odd things than Norm MacDonald. I've laughed really hard at a lot of people, but Norm was always a guarantee. And just take this moment. We haven't done this I think we had one for Ralphie because we were pals with him. This is just somebody that I honestly put up on the Mount Rushmore of funny in my lifetime. I think Norm was one of the most creative, and he took every subject and made it great with a delivery no one would ever dance with. You'd never try this. He was unique. He was brilliant. And I hate to use the word idol, but I think I might have to. That I kind of idolize Norm MacDonald in a weird way. There are some times when I hear myself tell jokes, and I'm like, that was a very Norm delivery. Like you do the thing, oh, my God, no, I would never do that. That's WNBA. You just do that stuff where you couldn't help it. If you were in a room with him, you talked like him. And he just kind of commanded the space. And he was very nice, too, on top of it all. But he died. And Toledo, you put together some stuff from Norm just to remember him. What do you got first?
Well, I've got a couple for you to choose from. A story that he told with us about Super Dave at a softball game.
Yeah.
And he did it as Super Dave.
Celebrity baseball game he was watching on TV.
Celebrity baseball game. I've got his video that he did for Brady.
Let's play Brady's video. Now, okay. Brady got married 15 years ago. And we had some celebrities do a video for us and put it together for the presentation, and Norm was one of them. And this was Norm's marital advice to Brady back in 2005, right?
2006.
Okay, here we go. This is Norm telling Brady how to make marriage better.
Hang on, I got to plug in.
Oh, there you go. Start over.
Marital advice for Brady. Just anything you want to give him. And cuss if you want. Say something horrifying.
Should I do it now?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, I thought the light was supposed to be on. Hey, Brady, just a little marital advice. One day the honeymoon will be over. You'll be married, a longer time. And then it's time that, in the bedroom might get a little boring. And a way to spice up the bedroom is to maybe role play, maybe, put on different costumes to pretend you're with different people. And that's like really pathetic. And, you shouldn't do that. You should just go, we don't like each other anymore. don't, because what happens is you do the little role playing, and I'm the lumberjack, and you're the and that for a while, and then 2 months later, your wife's fucking real lumberjack. I'm just telling you from experience.
And Brady, you've taken that advice and have not played lumberjack at home. It's brilliant. And then Norm told the story about watching. This is when we first heard him do the Super Dave impression, which I stole immediately. I thought it was brilliant. I've always watched. The best Super Dave impression, by the way, is Dave Coulier. But Norm has done this, and he did this for no reason at all. He told us this story about watching a celebrity baseball game, and Super Dave called him up to tell him that the celebrity baseball game was on TV. This is Norm MacDonald is here. You do the greatest Super Dave Osborne impression of all time. It's hilarious.
He phones me up and leaves messages. Turn on channel 6. Because you're going to want to see this. They're doing a celebrity game. And Alan up to bat. The pitcher is Corbin Burnson. The first pitch of the game, Corbin Burnson pitches as hard as he can and hits Thick in the ribs. Thick goes down like a load of bricks and can't move for 5 minutes. The trainer's running on. Thick wants to continue. How much would you pay to be there and to see that? Turn to Channel 6 immediately.
I absolutely love that one. I made him tell that a few times.
Yeah.
That was early on.
That one was from 07.
07. So was a young 5.5, 6 years old then.
Yep.
Or as Brady says, 19.
In Mexico.
Yeah, in
Depends on the Mexican
Mexican
rate.
metric rate, 19 years is equal to 5 American. It's like the pesos of time. What else you got?
You had me pull up his
The Letterman
Letterman,
one.
and you had me pull up the Daily Show.
Yeah, the Daily Show one, which my friend Colin just actually sent me and said he'd never seen this. This is great. This is him on the Daily Show days after the death of the crocodile hunter, which this I love. This is great stuff.
I wanted to talk about the crocodile hunter. Did you? Because I think you're going to make him sad. Because I think it was tragic at the time, but I think I don't know. People calling me, man, they're shocked. Oh, hey, you wouldn't believe it. Who got killed? The crocodile hunter. Please don't make me laugh at this. This is not good to do. He was 44 years old. I'm like, that's a ripe old age for a crocodile hunter. That's not. And you know who had to be pissed about it were the crocodiles, because he got killed by some fruity fish. And so you know the crocodiles were like, hey man, that crocodile hunter got killed. Who did it, Frank? Nah, you don't even want to know, man. please don't do this anymore. Bill, man, you had a chance once. The guy go, man, I had a chance. I had that mother. He was Tommy with a stick. I could have eaten him and his kid. I don't feel good about this. You remember I ever tell you that story, Bill? Yeah, only 1,000 times. That's for the kids. All right, Norm MacDonald.
All right, him promoting that and talking about the bravery and the funny. But I do seriously think that maybe the best polished thing he ever did in his life was his final time on Letterman. Letterman was saying goodbye. It was April of 2015, 16. I don't remember when Dave went away. And he had Norm on. And Norm and Dave were, like, I think David Letterman thought Norm MacDonald was the funniest person in the world. And Norm did his last hit. And this is something I can say that this is a Pratt moment where I actually did, before we went on the air, I said, hey, I have to tell you, as a fan of comedy, what you did on Letterman's, your last set on Letterman's thing was maybe the best stand-up I've ever seen on a talk show. It very rarely goes well on a talk show. Sometimes it's good. I said, that was the best you've ever been. And I said, and also incredibly touching at the end, him saying thank you to Dave for his career. He does a thing about World War II in Germany. That is, how long is it? 5 minutes, maybe?
That's 9 minutes.
9
total,
minutes.
Total
Yeah,
thing.
it's fine. We're going to play it because it's Norm. And so this is. I don't even know if this is legal. Is it? Are we allowed to do this?
Yeah, it's
like,
retrospect.
Oh, that's true. It's Norm on Letterman the last time, and this is a good way to bye to him because this is how he said goodbye to Dave. And Norm Macdonald. The world's a whole lot less funny. The funny bone is a whole lot number than it once was without a guy like Norm Macdonald. So one of my idols, Mount Rushmore of funny, Norm Macdonald on Letterman the last time.
Remember that. This man began his television stand-up debut with us 25 years ago.
Didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Very talented actor. Nobody funnier. Ladies and gentlemen, Norm Macdonald.
Thanks, guys. Listen, I don't want to brag or anything, but me and Oprah are making the same money tonight. But the show has loosened up considerably. I know I was watching Oprah and Dave talking about weed and booze. I don't do either of those. The hardest drug I ever did, LSD. And I remember I was a kid, I was like 16, and I remember they warned me, they said, hey, you got to be careful with that LSD on account of you can get a flashback. 10 years can go by, 20 years, 30 years, and a flashback will happen. So I thought, hey, that seems like a good deal. You tell me I buy a drug for $5, I eat it, I get high, and then 20 years later I get high again? That's not the point. I like to stretch my drug dollar. The point is this. 10 years have passed, 20 years have passed, 30 years have passed, and no flashbacks. What a jip that turned out to be. Just more horse by the big acid companies, that's all it is. But I can't believe it's been a quarter century since I made my television debut. It was all different back then. You know, it was back then, I remember if you wanted to take a picture, you would use a camera. Not a telephone. As a matter of fact, if you used a telephone, people would look at you odd. You'd be like... Just stay still like that. What about in the old days when they took pictures of you way back, you know, where they pulled that thing and exploded and stuff? I got a picture of my great-grandfather. The thing took 6 hours to take your picture, and there's a picture of my great-grandfather, one. They only had, every guy had one picture back then. And it's just him like... I gotta get back, feed them hogs. Who's gonna feed the hogs? Somebody gotta feed them hogs. Now, in the future, of course, it'll be different. 50 years from now, people will be going like, hey, you want to see 100,000 pictures of my great-grandfather? I got him right here, plus everything he did every day of his life. Hey, this occurred to me today. ID, which I had to show it again. There's a strange abbreviation. Think about it. I is short for I. And then D is short for dentification. They could have split that one up a little better, you know? But I watch the TV, I watch the news, make you afraid, the news, you know? Put all these stories on, Iraq, Iran, North Korea, you know, try to scare you, you know? But does it ever really scare you? Like, you ever wake up in the middle of the night, North Korea! That little tiny country across the ocean. I wonder if they'll get me. Plus, didn't MASH settle that like 20 years ago? Why'd I have to watch that stupid show? There is one country that worries. Not Iraq, not Iran, not North Korea. The only country that really worries me is the country of Germany. I don't know if you guys are history buffs or not, but... in the early part of the previous century, Germany decided to go to war. And who did they go to war with? The world. That had never been tried before. And so you figure that would take about 5 seconds for the world to win, but no, it was actually close. Then about 30 years pass, and Germany decides again to go to war, and again it chooses as its enemy the world. And this time they have that guy, Schrankly, Crankly, that guy, and I'm not even going to dignify him by saying his name, but I think you know what I'm talking about. But you'd think at that point the world will go, listen, Germany, here's the deal. You don't get to be a country no more on account of you keep attacking the world. I mean, what do you think, you're Mars or something? Anyways, listen, folks, this will be my last time on the David Letterman show, I understand. And you guys, we all know that David Letterman was the greatest talk show host who ever lived. But I remember Dave differently because the first time I saw him, I was 13 years old. I was living in... I was living in Toronto, Canada, and I went to a talk show they had there. And David Letterman was the stand-up comedian on the show. And I loved stand-up. And David Letterman did this joke that I told everybody this joke. I love this joke. It still stays with me as my favorite stand-up joke ever. So I'd like to do it for you if you'd like to hear it. Because I was on the street the other day and I saw a garbage truck, and on the back of the garbage truck there was a small sign that said, "Please do not follow too closely. Another of life's simple pleasures ruined by a meddling bureaucracy," ladies and gentlemen. You remember the old days when Dad would pile the kids in the station wagon and we'd all go out and follow a garbage truck? So anyways, I'd just like to say, I know that Mr. Letterman is not for the mawkish, and he has no truck for the sentimental, but if something is true, it is not sentimental, and I say in truth, I love you.
Oh, my God. That got me.
Oh, my God.
Norm. There you go. Funny died a little bit yesterday. That's a crusher for me. Norm MacDonald on his last set on Letterman. Awesome. He will be missed for darn sure. And it's for funny people in this room, and there's 4 of us in here. It doesn't get better than that guy. We got Rock Wars coming up in a little bit.
Yeah, I want it.
You really, really, really want it?
Yes, I really want it.
You've been listening to Holmberg's Morning Sickness Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Eric'sFamilyBBQ.com.